First of all, before I talk basketball, I'd like to congratulate Elmar on another Sweet 16 appearance for the soccer team, and Kirsten, her staff and team. All of us were sitting on the edge of our seats watching that match last night. But what they've done in the Big East, how they've dominated that league, and then continue to raise their profile nationally is just incredible. They're great representatives of Creighton, and we're incredibly proud of them. Our program's incredibly proud of them, and certainly wish them well next weekend. Tonight, I thought the start was really critical. We haven't got off to the best starts. We're up 12-3. They scored on one of their first 10 possessions. I thought our activity with the double teams on Johnson was effective. And had it not been for 2 or 3 turnovers in transition, we really had a chance to create some separation. But Akron's good, and I think in March we'll find out how good they are. It's a hard team for us to play against with the post ISOs, and playing a couple freshmen there, and Justin and Martine. Johnson is a load there, and he's extremely skilled passer. And then they surround him by all these shooters. So I thought our guys followed the plan well. And again, we missed some open threes, but we still shot 55% for the game. So we're getting the type of shots that we want. And tonight we beat a very good basketball team.
Questions for the student athletes? Marcus, what was the key for you to start the game? Looked like you got in a pretty good goal right away.
Yeah, it was just about staying focused through warm-ups, as we talked about last week. We got to have a better mental approach to the game. So I was just really focused and locked in through the warm-ups, and it just carried over to the first couple plays of the game.
Yeah, Cole, it seemed like you were pressing a little bit in the first half, and then after halftime it seemed like you got into a little bit of a better offensive rhythm. Is there anything that you did at halftime to kind of get into a better mindset to get to better shots?
Just reset. The first half was over with. There's nothing you can do to get anything that you did back. And, my teammates just found me when I was open, and I was aggressive, and lucky for me, some shots went in.
Both of you guys, can you just describe the feeling when you, as an offense, rolling the way you were for that stretch in the second? I think it was something like 8 shots in a row he made, and obviously you put the game away there. But when it's rolling and clicking, and guys are throwing lobs and hitting threes, what's that feeling like?
Yeah, it's a good feeling to have because, we feel like anybody can come in the game and be effective in many different ways, and we have different weapons. That's what makes this team so special.
Yeah, it was really fun. Our crowd really gets us going. Like Marcus said, it's great for us that, top to bottom throughout our roster, we have trust that anyone can come in and contribute right away. And like you guys talked about earlier, Marcus seems to really get us going, get us jump started every game, and that's important for us. And him and Wap kind of give us that kickstart that we need, and from there, we just keep chucking.
What was the most challenging part about defending Akron for the majority of the shot clock? It looked like the isolations and dribble penetration were something that they were fairly successful with late in the shot clock situation.
It was just hard to guard a team that can shoot and has a dominant big man. So we were so focused about worrying about the big man, and they would just kick out and hit long threes. So that's what hurt us a little bit.
Yeah, they're a really patient team. Obviously, with Big Johnson down low, it was hard to handle him with just one body. He's so big and so skilled down there, and he's a really smart player. He takes his time, and they get the shots that they want to get. And tonight, those threes, the extra passes, they're falling for him. But it's something we can learn from. So the next team we play, when we have to do something like that, we can be better.
Cole, I'm sure you're tired of being asked about this, so you can smack me upside the head later. But just where you're at health-wise, how are you feeling? And you feel better now than maybe a month ago, or closer? Or what kind of update can you provide there?
I think Coach and I can both agree that I'm feeling and moving around a lot better than I was before the season started. Don't know how much better, but the key is to just keep getting better every day. I think I've been able to do that. But as long as I'm out there on the court, I'm fine. If I weren't, I wouldn't be playing. So As far as my knee, I'm fine.
And for both you guys, just, Mo at 13 assists so far this year. It seems like he's kind of been overshadowed a little bit by all the points that everybody's scoring. Can you guys both just talk a little bit about, how he's been able to have the success that he's had so far this year?
Yeah, I feel he's the key to our success, and we go as far as he goes. And I've just never seen a point guard so unselfish like him. He could score, he could have 20 points a night, but he chooses to pass and get his guys open. And then that's what gets him going into his shots and his layups. So, I love playing with Maurice, having a point guard that's going to find me and get other people involved before he thinks about himself.
Yeah, I've never played with a point guard as unselfish as Maurice is either. He could care less about his points. He wants everybody else to feel good about themselves and get their open shots and get their rhythm. And, for the most part, I think he was really, really good at doing that last year. Just we weren't making as many shots as we are now. And we plan on keeping that up.
Take one more for the student athletes.
You got a favorite dunk tonight, Marcus? 3 of them.
I really like them all. I just really like to dunk, honestly.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
We on the same page? All right. See you, Cole.
Questions for Coach McDermott?
What did you see out of the things that Akron was doing in the shot clock too? Obviously it's like a desperation.
Yeah, they it was one of those games where they made plays at the end of the shot clock several times, and some of them were defended really well with a hand in their face, and a couple times when we made the decision in the last 6 minutes with the lead to not double the post and maybe give up the 2. Actually, probably a sure thing to give up the 2, but not give up the 3. There was a couple times we just stepped off for a second. He kicked it back out, and they hit a 3. So some things we can learn from certainly there. But, the score is 41-38, 4 minutes into the second half, and we score 21 points on 9 possessions. And they only score, I think, 6 points on those 9 possessions. So, again, it's our pace and what we do, it just takes one run that's a knockout punch, and that was it. Very similar to the Wisconsin game, about the same point in the game, about that 14, 15-minute mark, we were able to put a run on. And our guys just have to stay with it and keep believing in that it's going to pay off. And obviously Akron did a good job of running some clock early in the possession. It was only a 68-possession game, I believe, which is maybe the lowest that we've played this year. So, their plan was good, but our guys stuck with it, and we made some good plays during that stretch. Cole's 2 threes got us started.
How much of that is on Maurice when they're using 30 and he probably wants to use 10 to find the best
He doesn't
shot?
want to even use 10 most times. It's hard, especially when he's, they were setting a lot of high ball screens that he had to fight through, and the kid can really shoot it. Both Jackson and Dunn Martin that came off the bench can both shoot it up there. So he's got to really fight screens and work, and then we're asking him to really attack on the other end. And the first half, again, I told the team, it's like we took a lot of first side shots, and they were good shots. But they were early in the shot clock, and we spent a lot of time playing defense again and not much time on offense. And had a chance maybe to separate it a few times and just didn't do it. And a lot of that, the credit goes to Akron. Like I said, that's a good basketball team, a very well-coached basketball team. I played against Keith's team several times, and he does a tremendous job.
Is that just Marcus doing his thing? I think he had 13 of your first 16 points. Is that just a green light for him when you see him get on that kind of a roll?
Well, he's got a green light whether I give him one or not. But, we were trying to get him isolated some against the smaller guards, and they did a good job of bringing help when we did that. But we got him loose. Maurice made the first play of the game, the 3-point shot, is all Justin. Justin takes off like a jet down the middle of the floor, and the whole defense collapses to the rim, and Maurice sees Marcus in the corner, and we get a 3. And doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but Justin deserves an assist for that because it doesn't happen if he doesn't do his job. So it's we survived some foul trouble with Justin and Maurice in the first half, and obviously Justin, I don't know that he came out the second half, but he's pretty important to what we do.
Yeah, just kind of along those lines, guys. Maybe not doing the things that show up in the box score, but stretchers run into the corner or run before, like just
It's spacing, it's cutting, it's pace, and in transition, it's effort. I mean, you have to have effort and you have to have some vision. Early in the game, we maybe took a couple chances that we shouldn't have, but when you throw that long pass and it goes off our fingertips out of bounds, that sends a message to the defense as well, like, hey, you better get back because we're looking for this. So while I don't like those turnovers, I'm okay with those because they're aggressive turnovers trying to put some pressure on the defense.
Two more for Coach. Coach, for you, with all the success this year's team has had so far, is it easier to work on some of the smaller details when you're getting wins as opposed to, fighting through?
As long as your team will listen, and to this point, I think our guys have recognized some areas that we need to improve defensively in particular, and we've been able to tweak some things offensively from game to game that they've been able to carry over and do a pretty good job of. But part of it is we have some experience. Maurice is a fifth-year player, Marcus is a fourth-year player, Kyrie's in his second year, and Cole's a fifth-year guy. And then off the bench, you got Toby in his fourth year, Z in his fifth year, Zach sitting over there helping out in his fourth year. So guys that have been around and have done it, that understand that, if you really want to be a special team, you can't wait till you lose to learn a lesson. And, we've learned a lot of small lessons along the way, and we're continuing to be efficient. People have seen us on film, and yet we're still shooting 50% game after game after game because guys are making the little subtle changes that we look for. So this has been a really coachable team and a really together team, and I think you've heard when our guys have been interviewed, they genuinely cheer for their teammates' success, and that's what makes team chemistry. That's what it's all about.
Could you elaborate on that further, I guess, as far as a little bit of a diminished role, like with Z and with Toby, not as many minutes, but, and obviously Zach at this point, 0 minutes, still what kind of role?
Well, Zach watched film on Johnson yesterday with Justin and Toby and Martine, the three guys that were going to guard him. That's kind of been Zach's role now is, be on the bench, talk to those guys as they come off the floor, and then watch some film of the guys they're going to be guarding prior to the game. And Toby's played whatever role we've asked him to play his entire career, and Z played fewer minutes tonight than he usually plays. Part of it was that group, the second half, was rolling together. I didn't really want to break it up, and we didn't have a timeout forever. And then we really had 3 timeouts. We had one at 14 minutes. They took one at 12:30, which was a full. Then we got another one at the 12. So they got plenty of rest, and I just didn't want to break that unit up like I wouldn't break a unit up if Z was on the floor. So we don't win without Z. I mean, there isn't a team in the country that has a guy that's that valuable, that experience coming off the bench for him. And the end of the half, those last 4 minutes, we played him at the point guard, which we never do. And he made a couple free throws, made a nice play off the dribble, and was sound defensively like he always is.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.